Picture a support agent that scores brilliantly in the lab, then falls apart the moment a real person is actually on the other end of the line. That gap is exactly what Tau2-Bench was built to expose. Comes from Sierra, the same team behind the original Tau2-Bench, and it tests something much harder than answering questions. It tests whether an AI agent can follow a company's written policy while using real tools to serve a live, simulated user who can also take actions. Frontier models still stumble here. Let's unpack why. Look, the whole setup is really a loop between four moving parts. Follow them one at a time and the benchmark stops feeling abstract. Everything starts with a policy document and a simulated user. The policy spells out the company's rules, refunds, verification steps, what an agent is and isn't allowed to do. The user is not passive here. Tau2-Bench models a shared, dynamic environment where that simulated user can take actions too, which the authors call dual control. Once the conversation opens, the agent has to read that policy and reason about it turn by turn. Cannot simply be helpful. It has to stay strictly inside the rules while it figures out what the user actually needs, often across many back and forth messages before anything gets resolved. Here the agent calls real tools to get things done, looking up an account, changing a plan, issuing a refund. In the telecom domain, the paper models this as a DEC-POMDP, and crucially the agent sometimes has to guide the user into taking the right action on their own end. Finally, the outcome gets scored against the true environment state and the policy. Did the agent reach the correct final state without breaking a single rule? Runs are repeated and reliability is reported with pass to the K, where the agent must succeed across several independent attempts, not just get lucky once. So what actually changes when you add a user who can act? Here's the contrast that makes this benchmark so hard. The older way, single control, is cleaner. Only the agent touches the tools, while the user just hands over information and waits. It is easier to measure, but it quietly assumes away the hardest part, coordinating with a real person, as if that never happens. Strong models can look almost solved in that tidy world. Dual control flips that assumption. The user now shares control of the environment and has to be guided into performing steps themselves, following the agent's instructions. The paper reports significant performance drops when agents move from the no-user setting into dual control, which exposes how much of real service work is really about guiding people. Strip it back, and 3 ideas are why this benchmark matters. This is the headline idea: dual control. Both the agent and a tightly coupled simulated user act on one shared, dynamic world, so success depends on genuine collaboration, not just on the agent firing the right function calls in isolation the way earlier benchmarks allowed. Policy adherence is the real test. The agent is judged not only on whether the user walks away happy, but on whether it stayed inside the company's written rules the entire time, which is exactly what enterprises care about before they will trust automation with customers. Reliability gets measured honestly. Because the benchmark repeats tasks and reports pass to the K, a model cannot fluke its way to a good score. Alright, let's lock in what matters. This benchmark, Tau2-Bench from Sierra, evaluates conversational AI agents in a dual control environment, and it is the successor to the team's earlier Tau2-Bench. The core idea is dual control, where both the agent and a tightly coupled simulated user can take actions in one shared environment, modeled in the paper as a telecom DEC-POMDP. Agents are judged on following the policy document while using real tools to serve that user, and reliability is measured with pass to the K across repeated runs. The headline finding: frontier models drop sharply once a user shares control, because guiding people is genuinely hard. Want more AI research made clear without the hype? Come explore it with us over at standarity.com.